How's it going, everybody? Combo here. Today we got 5 quick tips with the Goo Gun here on the heavy build. In my opinion, the Goo Gun is a perfect blend of both a fun and competitive playstyle, and as far as skill ceilings go, for like anything in this entire game, for me, the Goo Gun doesn't even have a ceiling because really at the end of the day, your imagination is as far as you can take this weapon. So by the end of the video, hopefully I can foster some creativity, show you some unique stuff you haven't really seen yet, and try to make you better while also having a great time, because let's be honest, the Goo Gun is fucking hilarious and it will never not be. So anyways, I'm not gonna yap your ears off here in the intro, let's get right into it. Starting things out at number 1, we have Govement. Get it? It's like movement, but also, you guys get it. Anyways, I'm gonna rapid fire these because I want to keep the video short. I guess a lot of people say my videos are too long. Anyways, I'm ranting. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about here. So the first thing we have is going to be the pillar. Very simple, exactly how it sounds. Shoot, jump. If you do this too fast, as you'll see, you'll kind of trap yourself. So you do want to kind of take a little break in between shots to ensure you pillar up. The other option here you have is the Goo Bridge. You know, I have this thing right here. If I want to get to it, I can make a little bridge, climb on top of it. Do be careful though. If you make your bridge too long, as you can see, it is going to fall over. I think you have 15 of the goo blobs before that happens, but as you see, you know, you want to be careful because that will fall over. What I like to do when it comes to climbing like objects like that, I don't like to do the pillar because it makes you vulnerable. The bridge is good, but you know, it's situational. I only do that when I'm going from building to building. What I like to do is almost more like a rock climbing approach. So I'll shoot goo here, jump up to it, shoot another one here, jump up to it. And if you get really good at this, as you can see, you move pretty fast and you can cover that horizontal and vertical movement. It's pretty good if you give it some time. Another option you have, this one's really fun. This isn't really movement per se, but if there's a cache box, for example, if you throw down the gravity cube, you can float a cache box and make it difficult to get. If you use the Goo Gun, as you can see right here, if I get over here, I can shoot goo around it, and this makes my cube basically immortal to anybody who doesn't have either fire or an explosive. Sometimes what you can also do is shoot the cube with the goo, which will cause it to move, which will let you adjust where that cube is located. So I'll see if I can do that real quick. I'll run over here, shoot my cube. As you can see, it moves, so that's another option you have. There is a ton of things you can do with the Goo Gun and movement, and I'll show off in number 2. If you get really creative, you can do some crazy stuff. Next up at number 2, we have the Goo Plane. And let me just say, like I said in number 1, movement with the Goo Gun can get really goofy, and I don't think there's a better example than this. I do want to say to start this though, I am not the original creator of this. I could not find who originally created this. So if somebody knows in the comment section, please let me know. But I want you guys to know I'm not taking credit for this, and I want to appropriately credit whoever found this. Anyways, I'll show you how it works. First thing you're going to do, lay down a goo blob like so, put a barricade on top of it. Try to make sure that's straight. Then we're going to shoot goo in a line behind that first barricade until it eventually falls over, as you can see like that. Then we're going to take that second barricade. This is a little resource heavy, but I promise it's worth it. You're going to put this as straight as you can. Then you're going to take goo. You're going to put goo on the sides, goo right here, and I like to put one right here. We're then going to take the anti-gravity cube. The reason we did that is we want it to stay in here. Put it right in there, as you can see. Then we're going to shoot goo on the front end right here, and as you can see, we start flying forward. If I was on a big map, I would be going a lot further. As you can see, I hit that wall right there. But yeah, basically you have a little airship. This is so funny, especially if you have a really big map, like Monaco, for example. I've seen people fly like all the way across the map on this. Super, super funny. So definitely if you haven't tried it before it gets patched out, if it ever does, give the Goo ship a chance, because I got him, you know, it's hilarious. I mean, look at that thing. How do you not love it? Next up at number 3, we have the Fire Snake. Now this may seem kind of niche, but I promise you this is a really good way to kind of take the defensive aspect of the Goo Gun and turn it into a bit more of an offensive playstyle if that's what you like. So as you can see right here, if you did not know this, goo is very flammable. So I take the flamethrower, the goo starts catching on fire, and if I walk anywhere near it, not even like on it, as you can see, I'm going to take around 50 damage. So I took 47, which is quite a bit, especially if you have lights that like to jump around everywhere. So let's say, right, as you can see, I already tried this once and kind of like butchered the take, so ignore this. But what we're gonna do here, if I take goo and just kind of lead it into this building, you'll see it's extremely easy to make an entire building basically uninhabitable. So what we're gonna do, right, I'm just gonna put a little bit of goo outside. This goo has a pretty big range that it'll catch on fire. So I'll set some on fire, and as you can see, all I have to do is kind of just spray it in random places like this. As you can see, all that goo is gonna start catching on fire. And if anybody tries to chase me into this building, yeah, they're going to take a lot of damage. So if I tried running out of here or chasing anybody, you know, even on my way out, if I put goo, like I said, this is not a practical example. I'm just trying to show like how quick you can cover the area. You know, you can really mess some people up. So if anybody's chasing you, maybe put down a pyro nade, maybe you take damage, for example, somebody's shooting at you, you put up a little wall like this, they try to jump over that wall, wall's on fire now, they take a ton of damage, you pull out the flamethrower, and then you light them up. You know, there's a lot of things you can do with this, not just making a funny line and setting it on fire. So please, experiment, show me what you guys find, but for me, this is one of my favorite things to do with the goo gun. Next up at number 4, we have hidden traps. This mostly refers to mines. I would recommend using explosive mines if you're going to do this, because if you're using goo, pyro mines are cool, but if you're trying to be defensive, which is where this does best, yeah, you're going to destroy all your goo, so that's not very good. So the way this works, if you take a explosive mine, throw it on the ground, and shoot goo on top of it, this is now immune to being detonated by explosives. I'll show that off with a C4 here. If I put C4 right on this goo, normally that would destroy my mine, and especially if I'm close to it, let's say I'm guarding a building, for example, having all my mines blow up at once doesn't really help me. It might actually get me killed. But if I blow that up, as you can see, my mine is still here. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, cool, how is that useful? Well, you wouldn't just want to do that on the ground. Like if I have a mine on the ground and I shoot it like this, yeah, now that mine's just not going to do its job. But where this becomes useful, right? Let's say there's a doorway. This is like a place somebody has to come in, unless they have like a sledgehammer or something like that. But if they have a sledgehammer and they don't see the mine and they hit your goo trap, they're still going to take damage. So where this becomes useful, right? If I throw this mine in front of this doorway right here, shoot a goo on top of it, and then block that door, right? People have to come in this way. And let's say they're trying to get rid of it, like, okay, they throw a C4, or they're shooting my goo, they blow it up, they're like, okay, I'm safe. Hey, look, a mine. I just took a ton of damage. I had no clue why it was there. Why didn't my explosive kill it? It's really good for catching people by surprise. I'm sure there's more creative ways you can do this, but generally speaking, once again, just keep it in mind, because it can be very good at defending an area. And finally, at number 5, we have the weapons that synergize best with the goo gun. Now, as I said, the goo gun is super versatile. You can use it with really anything you want, but I think these 3 weapons are going to benefit the most. So the first one we have here is the flamethrower for obvious reasons. You know, it synergizes with the goo snake that I showed off before, where you set everything on fire, which is really good. So you have that option. As well, the flamethrower does not have a whole lot of range, and if you shoot a target with goo, they actually can't move. So I'll show that on myself here. If I get hit with goo, as you can see, oops, I didn't do it. I'm stuck, I can't move, and if I walk up to you with my flamethrower, not only are you going to take damage from my flamethrower, you're also going to take damage from the goo that is on fire, which is really, really strong. Another thing you can do is pull out the sledgehammer. You know, this is a tried and true, right? It's super, super strong. Walk over to a target, shoot them with goo, get in their face with the sledgehammer. You know, they can't move, they're gonna take a ton of damage. This is also really good at putting up walls. So if you're trying to get into a target's face, put up a wall, make it tougher for them to hit you. Also just really good at fortifying areas. And what this allows you to do with the sledgehammer, if I'm defending a building, which is where melee weapons on the heavy do best, you know, I can make targets play into where I want. So if I make a little hallway with goo, and they have to come down here, and I know they're going to come down that hallway, I can just sit there and wait, and when they come through, they take a ton of damage. Also, when you're playing heavy with sledgehammer, you have absolutely no trouble breaking the goo that you've put down, and that's pretty nice, because with the flamethrower, you might set yourself on fire. And finally, we have the spear. This is similar to the sledgehammer, because once again, you can slow targets down. If I hit this target with goo, he can't move. I can then come in with a heavy attack and break it. Also, the spear has no issue getting rid of the goo, but to me, these weapons complement the goo gun the best. Anyways, everyone, I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below. I'm sure there are things I've missed, because once again, trying to put everything about the goo gun into a 5-tip video, it's just not gonna happen. So please let me know in the comment section if you have some crazy goo tech that I have absolutely no clue about. I would love to hear about it. And if you do, I'll pin your comment and we can talk about it down there. So once again, thank you for watching. Hopefully this didn't take too long. Once again, there's so much info here. I tried to condense it as much as I can. But yeah, this has been Combo. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Stay home, stay safe. And yeah, peace out, everybody. Later.